this is literally what happens when you let predatory men run a scene. This actually all started with Ocho Calacas. Ocho Calacas was pretty much supposed to play at Punk in the Park. Punk in the Park's owner, Cameron Collins, he donated and voted for Trump. A lot of bands started dropping, and then Ocho Calacas actually did drop from Punk in the Park. Pretty much like listen to the fans, came out with a statement saying, "We are raza and everything we do is for raza always." I think around like February 24th, I believe, around that time, La Raza Fest actually came to be. La Raza Fest was like a counter festival, counter like show against Punk in the Park. Ocho Calacas was gonna play as well as like 8 other ska bands in the LA scene. But then that's actually where everything started to fall apart. A woman that goes by Erotic.rat on Instagram, she posted on her story talking about her experience with Giovanni Isaias, the trombone player of Ocho Calacas, back in like 2018. So this was about almost 10 years ago. Giovanni invited her to their band practice. They had sexual relations after that. When this happened, she was a minor. That keyword, she was a minor, she was not of age. This happened while she was underage. She actually tagged Nacho Corrupted, Nothing Less Bookings, which was the booking company that was throwing the La Raza Fest. Nacho Corrupted, he also owns CY Fest and LA Punk Invasion. She tagged Nacho Corrupted in order to make him aware of these allegations. And this is actually where things actually started getting crazy. Not only did Ocho Calacas and her abuser Gio, they had all blocked her, but also Nacho Corrupted blocked her, as well as blocking her from Nothing Less Bookings. After that had happened, like, she actually did call him out, called out Ocho Calacas, because it almost seemed like they were trying to sweep this under the rug. More people started talking about it, more people started asking questions. There were other women that actually started coming out saying, hey, Gio actually did this to me too. I was underage as well. He actually did take advantage of me. And not just underage girls, just and also women that were like of age at that point. And they came out with their stories too of Gio doing some really messed up shit to them. And I feel like at that point, with so many things coming out about Gio, they weren't able to ignore it anymore. Around the 28th of February, like a few days after she had like posted her story, and after being blocked and all that, they actually did DM her. And what they specifically said was, due to the sensitive legal nature of the allegations being made, we unfortunately can't make a public post about the situation. And then their message basically goes on to say that Gio's no longer in the band and that they encourage her to basically take legal action against him. They were kind of like trying to backpedal and say, oh, the only reason why we blocked you was because we have families and this is like a serious thing. They were even speaking for Nacho as well. Like, Nacho didn't even like say anything to her at that moment, at least that from what I was seeing from like the receipts and the timeline and all that. They were saying, oh, and the reason why Nacho blocked you was because of the same thing too. And it's like, why are you speaking for him? It almost seemed like that was going to be a nicely knotted little bow on the situation, but it wasn't. More women started coming out with their allegations, not only about Gio, but also against one of the singers of Ocho Calacas, Getsamani, and many other bands in the ska and punk scene, such as Echo La Cuba, Chancha Berinches, Barrage. What was the biggest allegations that were coming out were against Nacho Corrupted, with a lot of the women alleging inappropriate behavior with underage girls as far as like early 2010s, booking bands with known predatory and abusive behavior, as well as him being an overall bully in the scene with his friends at the time. And also like his friends during that time also being accused of the same stuff too. Many of these stories also included women like making Nacho aware of these behaviors from his friends. And with all of this going on, like, it started this bigger conversation about how predatory men in the punk and ska scene are like basically like they're easily able to just get away with all these harmful things, and they're being enabled by their friends and others in the scene only because of their status in the scene. And it literally does not stop there. Another allegation actually came out from this girl named Scabrona on Instagram. It was against Azael Hernandez. who is the owner of Concrete Jungle, and he's a saxophone player of La Pobresca. In her story, she basically recounts like her being essayed by him over a decade ago after a show. I do recommend going to her page to actually read her story. So, with all this being said, what do we do to stop this problem? The LA scene isn't a phenomenon with this type of thing going on for years and years and years, okay? There are many scenes in different parts of the world where this is a major problem. This is what happens when a scene becomes a boys' club, where women, especially teenage girls, are usually the victims of these predatory men just taking advantage of them because they're young, they're naive. And not only that, like if you really think about it too, the LGBTQ plus community is also, they also receive this kind of abuse as well. Like when we only give attention to a certain group of people, aka men, cis men, this type of behavior is bound to persist unless we actually take action against it. It's becoming normalized way too much. And I know a lot of people in the comment sections were saying, oh, well, this isn't new. This isn't new. Well, maybe we should fucking stop it. Maybe we should actually do something about it. So please, I do encourage people, please tell your stories so we can actually stop this from happening.